My name is Justin Ryburn. I am the VP of Global Solutions Engineering here at Kentik. I've been with Kentik about 5.5 years, but I've been in IT for about 25 years. I know for a lot of you, Kentik is not new, but I will do a quick intro of the company, talk about what we've been up to since the last time we presented at a network field day, and then wrap up with a little bit of roadmap things we're working on here as a company. So getting into the company overview, the backstory on Kentik is we were founded by network professionals for network professionals. So our co-founders ran large networks, and they were running across this problem, running networks where the monitoring appliances, the visibility appliances that existed at the time weren't solving the needs that they needed to be able to run, build, and manage their networks. And some of the reasons for that were they were very single telemetry type. So you would have an appliance that could do syslog. You'd have an appliance that could do SNMP. You'd have an appliance that could look at flow data. But they were all separate appliances. They were all separate tools. A lot of them only looked at a certain type of network. They were limited by the CPU and memory, so they were slow. They could only take certain amounts of data. They were monolithic. It was hard to integrate them into like a coherent tech stack to be able to take that data and put it into a data lake and do post-processing on that data. So there were a lot of challenges with the existing platforms or the existing appliances that were out there. So fast forward to today, Kentik has hundreds of customers. We're a little over 200 employees at this point. Seen a lot of growth in the 5.5 years that I've been with Kentik for sure. And we've broadened. We started off really focused on network traffic information, NetFlow, SFlow, IPFix. We still do that today, but we've added in synthetic testing. We've added in the ability to look at cloud data, internet, on-prem data centers. There's a lot of different networks, a lot of different telemetry types that we can now look at. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And a large scale platform that we've built, right, to speak to those challenges that I was talking about where they weren't able to look at data at scale. So, for a lot of appliances, this is what it feels like when you're getting hit with 8 million records per second, but that's something that Kentik does on a regular basis. So in order to do what we call observability, and we'll define what we mean by that term, we got a session coming up where we'll spend a lot of time talking about what we actually mean by the word observability. But in order to do proper observability, we believe data is the lifeblood of that. And then what that means is you have to be able to store the kind of stats that we're looking at here, which is 8 million flows per second coming in from our customers that we're storing all the time as they're coming in. In 2021, we processed and stored over 130 trillion flow records from our customers. In addition to that, we also had another 70 trillion that hit the front end. The customers weren't licensed to store with us. They were over their provision license, which is fine. We can take those and store what they are licensed to store with us. So you do add those two together, 200 trillion flow records over the course of 2021. And so this is, the reason this is interesting is this really solves things at scale, right? And in order to be able to do true observability, you have to be able to process and store data at scale. So a little bit about what we mean when we talk about observability. Again, we're gathering a lot of different types of telemetry. So we're looking at what is in the networks. We're looking at flow, SNMP, NetFlow, SFlow, IPFix, taking in some streaming telemetry. We can take in flow logs from public clouds. We can take in flow data from SD-WAN appliances. So there's a lot of different places that we can get what we call our primary telemetry sources. And then we enrich that with context. And what I mean by that is we add BGP routes, we add in threat feeds, we can add in application information if we have access to that type of information. And what that allows our customers to do is to look at the data in context that makes sense to them. So like for those of us who are network folks, going in and looking at your traffic by IP address or by VLAN may be perfectly fine. That may answer the questions you want to answer. But if you've got app teams, developer teams that don't really understand the network constructs or don't even care to know the network constructs, you want to enrich that data with some context so that they can go and look at the data by the name of the application or by, in an enterprise, maybe it's the name of the BU or the particular site that traffic is coming from at a branch location. There's a lot of different ways you can obviously enrich it in our product. And allows you to answer some of the questions you see here in the third bubble in the green. What is the cause of the failure? Is the transit gateway causing the problem? Are we under attack? Or how do I lower my infrastructure costs? So there's a lot of different questions that we can help our users answer. And hopefully, we may not be able to make you the Wolf of Wall Street, but hopefully we can at least make you the Wolf of the Knock, right? To be able to figure out the age-old problem of, is it the network or is it the application? All right, so what's new? Let's talk a little bit about what we've been up to since the last time you saw us before you at Network Field Day. I won't go through all of these, but I'll just say they kind of fill into 4 key areas that we've been focused on: synthetics, the core platform itself, cloud, and then called platforms in general here on the right side. Synthetics, a lot of our heavy lifting has been done around page load testing and transaction testing. So in addition to the network layer stuff we've been doing for a little while, we've added the ability to actually go out, load a web page, see all the various parts of the web page and how long it's taking for those to load, and then taking that a step further with the transaction testing to be able to do something like on an e-commerce website, go out, browse, go through the entire checkout procedure and run that all as one test and be able to see what the end-to-end transaction time is taking. We'll show a demo of that in a later session. As far as the core platform, a lot of things we've been working on here. A lot of it, honestly, in the last few months has been focused on BGP. Being able to visualize BGP, which I'll show a demo of in a later session. RPKI validation, being able to apply your traffic information over your BGP routing tables and look at how much traffic you actually have going to routes that are either passing or not passing RPKI validation. Like I mentioned, cloud, so we have the ability to take in network traffic information in the public cloud and visualize that for you, give you a nice visual that shows what applications are talking to what on a map. We'll do a demo of that. That's been a big area of focus for us recently. And then what I like to call democratization of data. So we've spent a lot of time adding additional functionality to being able to do like public link shares. If you want to share with someone else on the team a visualization in Kentik without them having to have a link and a login to the platform, being able to subscribe the data, being able to get it into chat ops applications. We have a partnership with New Relic where we can push our network data into their APM solution. So a lot of different ways that we can share the Kentik data once it's been enriched with other tools that you may have in your environment. All right, so where are we going from here? Tell you a little bit about the roadmap. Again, like I said, we've been working a lot on what I'll call the telemetry pipeline. So a lot of these various data sources, taking them in, enriching them, but then making them available to other systems in other data lakes, other systems that you may have that you want to get this data into. We call it the fire hose functionality. So essentially what we're doing is taking that data out, sending it to a lightweight application that can run wherever you want to have it running in your environment, called K-Translate. It takes in the feed post-enriched from Kentik and then translates it to any of these different types of formats you see here. So we put on a Kafka bus, put on a Kinesis bus. This is how we do our partnership with New Relic, where we can send data into New Relic, Splunk. There's a lot you can see here. There's a lot of different tools a lot of different formats that can be put into, which opens up a lot of different things you can do with that enriched data. So you can apply your own algorithms to it if you're looking for application performance, if you're wanting to apply some sort of machine learning to it, if you're wanting to do more security and risk analysis. There's a lot of things you can do once you get the data out of the platform into your own system. So that's a big area of focus for us. We've been working on that, but we're going to continue to work on even more of that. Containers and Kubernetes. This is a big area of focus for us right now. We just kind of started working on this a little bit, where we can see traffic in a Kubernetes environment, what pods are talking to what pods, what nodes are talking to what nodes. Not only just looking at the traffic, but again, going back to that enrichment of data, we can pull metadata off the master node via the API and enrich that data so that we can give you visualizations for your users that are in the constructs that they're used to knowing. They know what the services are, they know what the applications are, without having to know the IP address, which is ephemeral in a Kubernetes environment, so it doesn't really tell you much anyway. And then labs, a lot of the work that we've been doing around the data pipeline and this Kubernetes visibility that I was just talking about comes out of our Kentik labs. So if there are people that are interested in seeing what we're doing there, interested in contributing to our community and involvement there, feel free to check out this URL here. You see kenticlabs.com. Happy to show you what we're working on and get any help with it if there's stuff you're interested in taking further. So in summary, we've spent a lot of time trying to differentiate ourselves by having this highly scalable, enriched with context platform. We're continuing to have a very active roadmap. We're continuing to work on additional things in this area. We love to work with our customers. We love to work with the community and figure out what problems still exist, what problems customers are still looking to solve, see what we can do to iterate on the platform and make it even better for our customers. So